How are you? My name's Captain Joe Lappin. I'm a citizen of Wicomico County, and it's very disappointing to see what we have going on. And I have more questions than I think we have solutions. And I always come back to some things, and it comes back to my foundation. I was born here. I was raised here, and I'm going to pick on one of my friends over here, Miss Brown. Her father was my neighbor, and he was one of the first curators at the Ward Museum. And I know the work that that family put into that museum. I'm going to give them credit on that. But I'm going to speak to the university, and I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Drawing on my strong spiritual faith, Luke 12:2-3 says that nothing that is covered up will not come to light. There's a lot of covering up in some fashion, and I can't quite smell it, but being a waterman and being a captain, what I can tell you is that when I lose a fish in my boat, 3 days later, I can smell it. Okay? And that's the God's honest truth on that. And I see a lot of people talking about how good this is in our community, and it is. It's one of the biggest things in our community. As a child, I grew up as an artist. And Meg's father was an encourager for me. I have a fine art degree. Okay? Not only am I a captain and a waterman and work with my hands, but I have a fine art degree. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What does your art department look like at the college? It's great. Can you utilize the building to educate your children, your young men and your young women in that department? But I'm also going to plead to Wicomico County, and I'm going to tell you this. I was one of the very first recipients in Wicomico County as a VPA student in 1989. Does anybody know what that is? It's the Visual and Performing Arts Program in Wicomico County that was held up over at Wicomico County. I was one of the very first recipients. Had I not had that opportunity in Wicomico County, I probably would have been a person that would have been a construction guy, a bricklayer, and I'm not saying any of that is bad. What I'm saying to you is it gave me an opportunity out of an economic situation that my parents could not afford. I had a full ride scholarship to that. Okay. And what I can tell you is that I am a functioning artist at this time. I don't show my work. It's not hanging in the Ward Museum. But I do know that the VPA program suffers greatly. And I'm going to be an advocate for that in Wicomico County because I'm still active in that. And the university has a crop of talented young students at their disposal that I don't even think financially you consider it. Here's what I'm going to say to you. You already know what you're going to do with the building. You already know what you're going to do with the property. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have done it so quickly and so quietly. Okay? As citizens and taxpayers, I'm going to say to you like this. The university is very important to our community, and we need it. But I want you to be aware that your tax dollars, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, are supporting this organization. And I'm going to plead to you that you make it known that your dollars in this community support this. And if they want to hang the artwork that is there, the decoys in the Powell building, it's like taking a fine piece of artwork done by many artists that I know, including Mr. Brown himself and the Ward brothers and many, many more artists. It's like taking a fine piece of artwork and hanging it in your bathroom. Okay? When we do that, then we actually take the opportunities of education and ability to teach and to give back to our communities. And we actually take that and we lose that opportunity. And then I'm going to ask one other question in this day and age. And I don't care what side of the fence you stand on, but I'm going to make this question very clear. If this were a Black History Museum, would you pull it? If this were a Gay Pride Museum, would you pull it? If this were a organization that was a Holocaust museum, would you pull it?
Preach it.
Okay. Thank you. Moral of the story is that this is a craft that watermen like myself and watermen like all over this country that supplied their families and subsistence lifestyles became an art form. And you're taking that away from the community. And I hold you responsible as a taxpayer. I have 2 kids that have graduated from you guys, or 1 child, I'm sorry, that have graduated with you guys, and I've got 1 that's actually looking forward. I'm thinking differently. And that's a hit. That's a hit. To Wycomico County, I would like for you guys to look up at the Board of Education and look into the BPA program. Dig deeper and support those kids. I'm a positive product of that. I'll be happy to show you my artwork privately. Thank you.